It's actually the one
As
skill
you can
most
see,
people
the
actively
total has now
avoid,
reached an
run away from,
incredible
and generally treat
$100
like a
million.
dirty word. I'm talking about sales. Recently, business expert Natalie Dawson dropped a
As you
bomb
can
on the
see,
internet. She
sales are
packed
an
$100 million
absolute
worth of
disaster.
sales knowledge into 19 minutes. Now,
In
whether
just
you are trying to
19
close a
minutes,
massive
we turn
corporate deal,
potential
land a
into
new
profit.
job, or just convince your partner to eat tacos
It's that
tonight,
simple.
you are always selling something. But the problem is almost everything you think you know about selling is completely backwards. When you hear the word sales, your brain probably pictures a sleazy guy in a cheap suit sweating profusely, begging you to buy a broken car. Natalie argues that this outdated stereotype is exactly what's keeping you broke. Real selling isn't about manipulation or submission. Instead, the ultimate $100 million mindset shift is painfully simple. Selling is serving. It's problem solving. You aren't taking their money. You are exchanging a valuable solution for cash. If your solution works, they actually owe you. Think about it like a doctor. When you go to the hospital with a broken arm, the doctor doesn't nervously beg you to buy a cast. They tell you exactly what's wrong, what you need to fix it, and how much it costs. You pay them and you say thank you. That is the exact energy you need to bring into every single negotiation. You are the doctor of your specific industry, but to reach that level of supreme confidence, you have to genuinely believe that what you are offering is going to improve their life. If you don't believe in your own product, you will project that insecurity, and the client will smell your fear from a mile away. So, how do we stop acting like desperate beggars and start closing deals like a $100 million boss? It starts with shutting up. Why do we all collectively cringe when we hear the word sales? Why does it feel like a dirty word? Because almost all of us have been victims of a terrible salesperson at some point in our lives. Think about the pushy telemarketer who interrupts your family dinner, refusing to take no for an answer. Or the aggressive kiosk worker at the mall who ambushes you with a spray bottle of cheap cologne. These people aren't actually selling. They are just loudly demanding your money until you cave in. They don't know you, they don't care about your specific problems, and they definitely don't care about the solution. All they see is a walking wallet that can get them their next commission check. Because this is our main reference point, we subconsciously learn that selling makes you an annoying bad person. So when the time comes for you to pitch your own business, ask for a raise, or sell a product, you instantly feel completely gross. You stumble over your words and shrink yourself down. You start apologizing for your prices, offering massive discounts before the client even asks for one. Natalie Dawson highlights that this internal guilt is the biggest mental roadblock to reaching your financial goals. You are literally self-sabotaging your own success because you're afraid of looking like that pushy mall worker. If you fundamentally believe that selling is an evil act of manipulation, you will never build a $100 million empire. It is time to exorcise that bad sales ghost from your mind and learn what a real professional does. Once you banish the ghost of the pushy salesperson, you can finally embrace the core truth of the $100 million mindset. Real selling has absolutely nothing to do with taking. It is entirely about giving. You are giving clarity, you are giving a solution, and most importantly, you are giving them a better future. Natalie explains that top-tier salespeople view themselves as professional problem solvers, not smooth-talking persuaders. When a prospect comes to you, they are standing at point A, dealing with a painful problem or frustration. They want to get to point B, their dream outcome, but there is a massive gap in between. Your product or service is simply the bridge that connects their painful present to their desired future. If you truly believe your bridge is sturdy and will safely get them across, it becomes your moral obligation to sell it. If you don't offer them the bridge, you are abandoning them on the side of the cliff. This is why the mindset of sales equals service is so incredibly powerful. It removes the ego from the equation. When you are worried about looking desperate or annoying, you are making the entire interaction about you. But when you focus entirely on serving the person standing in front of you, the fear completely disappears. Stop thinking about your commission check and start obsessing over how you can actually help them win. Suddenly, you aren't trying to trick someone into opening their wallet. You are partnering with them to fix their life. But to be a master problem solver, you have to know what the problem is. And you can't do that if you never shut up. If there is one universal trait among terrible salespeople, it's that they absolutely love the sound of their own voice. They think that selling is about verbally bombarding the client with features, statistics, and buzzwords until they surrender. But Natalie Dawson reveals a golden rule of high-ticket sales. The person who speaks the least wins. Welcome to the 80-20 rule of communication. In any pitch, the prospect should be talking 80% of the time. You, the salesperson, should only be talking for the remaining 20%, and your time is strictly for asking questions. Why? Because people don't argue with their own data. When they say it, it's a fact. When you say it, it's a pitch. If you tell a client they need to save time, they will cross their arms and get defensive. But if you ask the right questions, they will eventually confess, "I am wasting too much time on this." Now, you aren't forcing a solution on them. They just handed you the exact blueprint of what they want to buy. Problem is, silence feels incredibly awkward for most beginners. When there is a pause, rookies panic. They rush to fill the quiet air with useless chatter, accidentally interrupting the client's internal thought process. Mastering sales means getting totally comfortable with uncomfortable silence. Ask a heavy, thought-provoking question and then just bite your tongue. Count to 5 in your head if you have to. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. The client will almost always break the silence first, and when they do, they usually reveal their deepest pain points. So you know exactly where it hurts, you finally know exactly how to negotiate, and that changes the entire game. When most people hear the word negotiation, they picture two people aggressively haggling over the price of a used car. But Natalie explains that true negotiation at the highest levels has almost nothing to do with the actual price tag. If a client is pushing back on your price, it simply means they do not fully understand the value you provide. Or worse, you haven't figured out what they actually value in the first place. Negotiation is essentially a game of discovery. Your job is to dig deep and find their core emotional driver. For example, a business owner doesn't really want to buy a completely new, expensive software system. What they actually want is to stop working 80 hours a week so they can see their kids on weekends. If you just try to sell the software features, you will end up in an endless argument about the monthly fee. But if you position your solution as the key to getting their weekends back, the price suddenly becomes irrelevant.
Wonderful.
You aren't selling a bunch of code, you are selling freedom. You are selling peace of mind. To uncover this hidden driver, you must use the power of the why question. When a client makes a demand or states a problem, don't just accept it at face value. Dig one layer deeper. Ask them, why is solving this specific problem so important to you right now? Keep peeling back the layers of the onion until you hit the raw, emotional truth. Because once you hold that truth in your hands, you finally have the leverage needed to close the deal. Now that you have peeled back the onion, we need to talk about the most misunderstood concept in sales, leverage. Leverage is not about manipulating or trapping your client. It's simply the balance of who needs who more. When you act desperate, practically begging for the sale, you are handing all your leverage directly to the prospect. They instantly realize that you need their money way more than they need your specific solution. And the moment they sense that desperation, they take complete control. They will demand discounts and dictate the terms. But $100 million closer flips that dynamic entirely. They operate from a position of absolute abundance. Natalie advises that you must genuinely believe that if this client walks away, there are 10 more waiting in line. You are the doctor, you have the cure. They are the one in pain. They need you. To establish this dynamic, the next crucial step is creating a sense of urgency. Fake urgency, like pretending a sale ends in 10 minutes, is a cheap tactic that destroys trust. Real urgency is created by tying the solution back to the emotional pain point you uncovered earlier. You remind them of what happens if they do nothing. How much longer can you afford to miss weekends with your kids? Suddenly, waiting another month to make a decision feels incredibly painful to them. They are no longer buying a product to save money. They are buying an immediate escape from their current suffering. When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of paying your fee, the deal is closed. Now, let's talk about a fascinating dynamic that Natalie Dawson points out, which might surprise a lot of people. Historically, the sales industry has been dominated by men, often glorifying the aggressive Wolf of Wall Street persona. But in the modern world of high-ticket sales, women actually possess a massive natural advantage. Why? Because the old tactics of bullying and intimidating clients into submission simply do not work anymore. Today's buyers are highly educated, deeply skeptical, and have zero tolerance for being treated like a transaction. To close a massive deal today, you need high emotional intelligence, you need deep empathy. And generally speaking, society has conditioned women to be far better listeners and much more empathetic than men. While the traditional male rookie might charge into a meeting trying to dominate the room and show off
Based on these
Female closer
projections,
often
we
enters the
anticipate
room
a
to collaborate,
15%
to
growth by
listen,
the end of Q3.
and to genuinely
We just need to
understand the
ensure the
client's pain.
infrastructure.
She creates a safe space where the client feels comfortable enough to drop their guard and reveal the truth. This isn't about gender stereotyping. It's about recognizing that the skill of empathy is directly tied to your income. If you are a man in sales, you need to put away the ego and start developing your emotional intelligence. You have to learn how to actively listen without instantly interrupting to offer your brilliant opinion. And if you are a woman who thought you were too nice for sales, think again. Your natural ability to connect with humans on an emotional level is literally $100 million superpower. Even with perfect empathy and massive leverage, you are still going to hear one word constantly: no. For the average salesperson, hearing no feels like a physical punch to the gut. It triggers pure panic. I see. They instantly assume the deal is dead, they pack up their briefcase, and they walk away defeated. But Natalie Dawson wants you to rewire your brain completely. No is not a stop sign. In fact, the real negotiation doesn't even begin until the prospect says no for the very first time. When a client says no or gives you an objection, they are rarely rejecting you or your product entirely. Usually what they are actually saying is, I am scared, I need more information, or I am confused. This is your golden opportunity to put your problem-solving hat back on and uncover the hidden fear. If they say it's too expensive, don't immediately drop your price and destroy your leverage. Instead, ask them calmly, I understand it's a significant investment. What part of the cost concerns you the most? When you respond with curiosity instead of defensiveness, you completely disarm their natural buying resistance. You transition from being an opposing force trying to take their money back to being their trusted doctor. Top closers eat no for breakfast. They expect it, they welcome it, and they use it as a stepping stone. Every objection they overcome is just another brick building the bridge toward the final $100 million deal. If you can detach your ego from the word no, you become virtually unstoppable in any room. By now, you should realize that everything we've talked about goes far beyond just selling software or real estate. The $100 million secret is that you are constantly selling, whether you have the official job title or not. When you walk into a job interview, you are pitching yourself as the ultimate solution to the company's problems. You just list your features, your degrees, and past roles. You will sound exactly like every other desperate candidate. But if you uncover their pain point and prove how you can fix it, you control the salary negotiation. What about dating? That is arguably the highest stakes sales pitch of your entire life. If you show up desperate, talking only about yourself and ignoring their needs, you are going home alone. But if you actively listen, show empathy, and demonstrate high value,
such a quick turnaround, and the
you
engagement
become the
metrics
prize
just
they want
shot
to
through the
win.
roof.
Even raising capital for a startup is just a massive exercise in the 80-20 rule and identifying leverage. Investors don't want to hear you beg for cash. They want a confident partner who can solve their problem. And their problem is that they have millions of dollars sitting around losing value to inflation. Your startup is the bridge that gets their money from point A to a massive return on investment at point B. Every single human interaction involves some level of persuasion, value exchange, and problem solving. When you finally master the art of serving through sales, you stop waiting for opportunities to happen to you. Instead, you possess the exact tools needed to manufacture your own luck and write your own ticket in life. So let's quickly recap the $100 million sales rulebook before you go out there and conquer the world. Rule number 1, banish the dirty word. Selling is not manipulating. Selling is serving and problem solving. Rule number 2, shut up and listen. The person who speaks the least in the negotiation always wins. Rule number 3, find the leverage. Uncover their emotional driver and remember that you hold the cure. Rule number 4, use your empathy. Emotional intelligence is your greatest weapon in a world of skeptical buyers. And finally, rule number 5, eat no for breakfast. Use objections to build the bridge to your final close. If you can master these 5 rules, you will never have to worry about money or opportunities ever again. You will transform from a desperate beggar into a high-value closer who dictates their own worth. A massive thank you to Natalie Dawson for dropping this incredible knowledge bomb on the internet. If you want to watch her original 19-minute masterclass, the link is down in the description below. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 sales rules was the biggest mind shift for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below and I will be reading and replying to the best ones. This video helped you rewire your brain. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more animated deep dives. Share this with a friend who is terrified of sales and help them unlock their true potential. Till next time, keep solving problems, keep serving others, and I will see you in the next video.